Welcome to the Unlock Your Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Ramon Martin. Today's guest is an inspirational content creator, a photographer, a mindset mammoth, and we can't leave out, definitely can't leave out Kansas City Chiefs fangirl. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Houng Forrest. How
Thank
you
you,
doing today?
Ramon. I'm doing really well. Excited to be here and spending some time with you today. Thanks for asking me to be on this and to share a little bit more about the journey.
Yes, definitely excited to hear about it and for you to share with our audience. So let's just start off with the fun stuff. What made you became this diehard inspirational Kansas City Chiefs fan?
I've been a sports fan all of my life, right? My parents watched a lot of football growing up. I was actually born in the LA area. And so, as a football fan, my family started out as Raiders and then 49ers fans. We lived in LA, then we lived in the Bay Area in Oakland. And then we moved to the Midwest, which was when two of my brothers and myself became Kansas City fans. We have a few family members who are still 49ers fans, like you are, and I have a sister who unfortunately is still a Raiders fan. So we are a household divided. I know. And so my love of football started at a very young age, but my love for the Kansas City Chiefs started when my family moved to the Midwest. So this was the year that Joe Montana, y'all gave us Joe Montana. It was that
Yes.
year actually. So that's when I became a Chiefs fan, and then it just kind of grew and came from there with being the sports fan and then being the Kansas City fan, having living in the area. And then, of course, after college, didn't want to stop dancing. And so a friend of mine jokingly said, "Hey, you should try out for the Kansas City Chiefs cheerleaders." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I don't think so." So I looked into it, and lo and behold, I did end up trying out and I made the team. And I was already a fan before it, but that whole experience further solidified my passion and my love for this team. And so, yeah, that's kind of how the whole fandom came around, and is still a part of me.
That's awesome. The Chiefs Kingdom.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, how was your experience of cheerleading for your team that you
It
grew up
was a dream I didn't know I had as a dream come true. And it was an absolutely incredible, surreal experience to have this opportunity. I loved it. I loved it all. It was a lot of hard work. And I didn't live right in Kansas City, so it was a commute for me to come to practices a couple of times a week and the appearances and the games and everything. But it was quite an experience, one that's super unique and one that I'm really, really grateful for. I learned a lot during that time from my coaches, from the team, from the organization, and my fellow cheerleaders as well. So I've always had a lot of positivity as a very young child. I was looking at old photos just recently that my nieces found. And even back then, I had posters on the wall of all the inspiration and all the positive things to think of and the mindset. But that time that I had spent with the Chiefs just really furthered that because it's a professional football organization. There's so many things happening and going on in that organization, and you bring such an element to the game day experience and to the organization. So it kind of just went hand in hand with my personal mentality of approaching life and the things that I wanted to accomplish. So it was a really incredible experience all the way around.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so speaking of like inspiration, your content, which I think just they say like attracts like. So I'm also an inspirational, also keynote speaker, and somehow you landed on my content, and I just saw your consistency and the way you inspire your audience. So how based on that, so what made you just start posting on your social media content and just sharing your inspiration and your your inspiration to the world?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm glad that you stumbled across it and that the messages resonated with you. That's something that I've always hoped for, right? Is like that message finds one person. And I have always had a desire and a dream. I always thought maybe one day I'd be an inspirational speaker. I'm still waiting on the one day. But until I have that one day, there are so many tools and so many platforms available to us now to do this small in between until we figure out what that next thing is, right? And
Right.
so part of I'm on a little sabbatical, if you will, from recording actual podcasts. I have it, and I have done several episodes, but I haven't done it and haven't touched it in a while. But I thought to myself, with social media and with my creating content and love of creating content on a regular basis here, I was like, well, let me take to these platforms where I can put out short little bits, right? Little bites. They don't have to be anything huge and long that people would have to really sit down and or wash dishes or do laundry and fold and all these things while they're listening to it. Let me just give little sound bites, if you will. And so I started creating motivational, inspirational content while I was just out doing my daily walks or doing workouts or things like that, because I think it's really relatable. And I think that walking, like I do every single day, is really relatable to real life where anybody can do it. You're just putting one foot in front of the other and just moving forward. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have like matching set, the perfect shoes. The weather doesn't have to be right. I just wanted to share a message every single day because I wanted to inspire somebody or to touch somebody when they were in a moment that they could feel that as well. Because I haven't lived all my life, but I've lived plenty of life, and I know that others could share and take from those experiences as well. And what are we, as humans? It's one big shared experience. And you're not alone in going through whatever it is that you're going through or feeling or thinking. So I just wanted to inspire and touch somebody.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yep. That's one step at a time.
Hmm.
Yeah. You remember Les Brown always you remember him telling us like you ain't gotta worry about achieving the goal all at once. And he was saying like how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
That's right. You don't have to see the whole staircase, right? You just need to
Yes.
take one step at a time. So, yeah, definitely
Yes.
that mentality, a little bit at a time.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, you built this amazing community as a mindset mama for listeners who struggle with discipline, such as myself. Um, I'm guilty. So what does
We
your
all
daily
are.
yes, what does your daily non-negotiable routine looks like?
Yeah, definitely. I am very disciplined Monday through Friday. I'm a little bit more relaxed on the weekends because I get to be and I can be, right? Because I think that's part of it too. It's hard to go 110% all the time, not knowing that there's going to be a break in sight. So there was a time where there were no breaks in sight. But in this chapter, in this portion and phase of life, there are a few little breaks. But Monday through Friday, it's pretty structured, pretty disciplined. I get up early. I start my day with gratitude. As soon as my feet hit the carpet, I say thank you because you never know when that last day is going to be a last day, right? So
Right.
always grateful to be able to wake up in good health and be able to move my body and do these things. So I give gratitude and then I get myself ready and I am out the door. Before my body or brain can think about it or object, I am out the door, weighted vest on, getting my steps in. So that is the part of the morning routine. And then I talk and record my videos on several walks there a week. I try to batch some of that content, of course. As you know, making content, if you don't have a system in place, it can become quite cumbersome. And then you get stuck in the processes and then you get stuck, period. And then you don't move. So I pick a couple of days a week where I'm recording a batch of videos at a time. And then after that walk and everything else, then come back because we got to start with a healthy breakfast. So making that breakfast, fueling my body, right? Like the things that you listen to and you read, it fuels your mind, it feeds your
Yeah.
soul. And then, of course, it's important to feed the physical body as well. So fueling up for the day. And then I am getting myself situated and then work, right? So I'm
Yeah.
working throughout the day, and then midday during my lunch break, I am taking that time out to move my body some more and I lift weights during that time frame and then I am back to work and feeling the body and then once the workday itself is wrapped up, then I get to work on all of my passion projects and the things that I do outside of my job. So I am editing content, editing videos, recording more Chiefs content for long form stuff on YouTube, and then, of course, the photography business. So I'm shooting, editing at any given time. But yes,
Yeah.
that doesn't even include my boys' football schedule and the things that we do as a family and what they do. So that gets sprinkled in there too, from week to week, depending on what that looks like.
Yes. Hey, that's there's no excuse.
Nope, no
Yep.
excuses. Everybody is
Yep.
busy, but I think that it's important that you create a schedule for yourself every day and challenge yourself to stick to it, especially if there are things that you want to accomplish. And then everybody has a hard. Things are going to be hard, things are going to be difficult, but you get to decide what is hard, what does that look like, and how am I going to challenge myself to overcome it and work towards that. We don't reach 100% of our goals, right? But that's the beauty of having goals is that you learn what you are capable of and then you can adjust as needed, whether it be the goal itself or the deadline for that goal. But I think
Mm.
if you set yourself up for success and attempt to do the hard things, then you're already a lot closer than you would be if you didn't start at all. And that includes structuring your days.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of parenting, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're a single parent.
Yes, I
Correct?
am.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like the parenting is hard enough, but doing it while rebuilding your life requires a lot of grace and structure. So what's your biggest lesson you learned about yourself during this journey?
Showing up. I think like it's, and that's part of like the reason why I love being able to share the content and create content and while I'm walking every single day is because it literally there are so many parallels, so many things that you can take away in your physical movement of exercise and keeping yourself healthy to parenting to everyday work life, real life. There are so many parallels. And so I think that the showing up aspect is so important. Show up as you, show up even when you don't feel like it, show up even when it's hard, when it's difficult, show up because other people, how you think you show up, sometimes a lot of us we want to show up when it's perfect, when things are all, we look
Yeah.
the part, we feel the part, we're ready to go into it. However, to other people, they're just grateful that you showed up. So I think the biggest lesson in life through this journey is just show up. Show up as yourself, show up for the things that you care about. Just show up because I think that aspect matters so much more. A lot of times when we're not feeling like it, we think that we don't have to show up or shouldn't show up because we don't feel like it. However, your presence matters to the people that matter. And so you showing up, even if you're not at your 100%, even if you're not at your very best, that means more to the people than not. And I will take that on the other side of not just my showing up to make sure that my boys know that I'm there and without a doubt, without any questions that mom's going to be there. Mom's doesn't miss the games, the scrimmages, the events, the things, even the practices at times, like I will show up, but also on the flip side of that, I think about all the people who have shown up for me through my hard times without asking for them to do so, they're there as well. So I think showing up is a really, really important thing in your life for you to do, but for other people to do for you as well.
No, that is key. I'm glad you hit on that. Yeah. So I tell my kids like 80% of showing up, like 80% is like 80% of showing up, excuse me, is is part of the success. And,
Yes.
like if you show up to even when you don't feel like it, if
Yeah.
you just show up, like if it's for your school, even practices, because my boys also athletes. There are times they didn't want to go to practice school, but sometimes like just show up.
Yes.
You never know, and
You
it's
never
just
know. And then like the other aspect of that, especially when we are raising kids and a family and everything else, is that sometimes you don't have the energy, but you showing up, you can absorb the energy from those around you. And then
Yes.
some days when your friends or your peers or whatever, they're showing up and they don't have quite the energy, but you've got energy that day, they can borrow yours. And that's why I think that energy is so important. And that's why what we put out there into this world matters. And that's why I am really big on energy and vibes. I can feel that about people. And of course, I always want to leave people and I always want to leave a room, a space better than I found it. I don't want to bring my
Yeah,
any negativity or anything into it. I want to make sure that people feel that life and energy when they leave my space.
definitely. Hey, like my mentor Les Brown always says, practice OQP, only quality people.
Yes,
Uh,
as
so
a
how
good
do
mentor.
yes, yeah, he's great. Yeah. So how's important for you to surround yourself with, like-minded people, and as they say, like attracts like.
Mhm.
So so just tell us the importance about like surround yourself with like quality people, like-minded people, to help you reach that next level.
Absolutely. I think this is a key lesson and a key thing. If you can elevate in every area of life, in each of the phases, you will keep growing in your own life. And I think this is really important because a lot of times we want to be with what we are comfortable knowing and comfortable being around. It is the familiarity is
Yeah,
one of those things that keeps us stunted, if you will. So being in a space where you are comfortable all the time, where you are, hey, maybe you're the smartest person in this in your friend groups and whatnot. Unfortunately, that doesn't allow you to grow. I think that
right.
the discomfort of being around people who are smarter than you, who are wealthier than you, and I'm not saying that just say that having money matters, but like I'm using the word wealth. I want to live comfortably and I want to give back and do the things that make life worth living,
Yeah,
right? But I think that when you are in a space where you are not around the people who have the mindset of where you want to be, where you want to grow, then it will keep you and hold you back until you do, because I think those are lessons in growth. So you have to put yourself every day into those uncomfortable situations. You have to do the work and do the things in order to surround yourself with those people if the groups that you are in currently aren't
right.
allowing you to stretch and to grow. So that might require you, I think in this day and age, it might be a little easier because there's so many online groups for if you want to do X, Y, or Z. There are
Yeah,
mastermind groups. There are, like you said, Les Brown is one of your mentors, and it's incredible that we have access to all of these incredible speakers and thought leaders and teachers that we can consume that content and listen and read and improve ourselves without leaving our home, if you will. I highly recommend it because I think that life experiences also teach you what you want and what you don't want. So, surrounding yourself and feeding your mind and your soul with those things that are available to anybody, but then also constantly up leveling your people that you spend your time with. I think that's really important and looking around because 90% of your group of the people that you're around, that's going to determine what you look like. If you're hanging around with people who are broke in mind and spirit, that's going to be you as well. And
yes,
however, if you are elevating yourself and if you're hanging around with people who are talking about how they're going to solve problems instead of just problems, then you're going to elevate yourself and grow as well. But it's a conscientious decision that we all have to make. Comfort really keeps us stuck. And the friends that maybe you have had through this phase of life or that you've grown up with, you guys get together and you sit down and you find yourself doing the same thing of ranting and ranting, but never bringing any positives, never bringing any resolution to the things that you were talking about and wanting to fix, but you're just ranting about them. That's not going to serve you. And that's up to us to decide, hey, I'm
Yeah.
going to change this. I'm going to limit my time there. They're still friends and they're still people that I want to
Yes.
have some sort of relationship with, but it doesn't mean that I have to give all of my time and energy there when I want to grow. And then it's up to us to go out and find those circles and find that mentorship so that we can elevate ourselves and continue to grow. And I always think that sometimes it hurts to be in that position where, oh, my friend left me behind. But I always think back to that saying that not everybody who starts with you can continue and go with you, right? I think that
Right.
we have friends who are meant to be with us through different phases of our life, stages of our life, or for different lessons in our life. And it's okay to let go of some of those friendships that no longer will allow you to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, 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 definitely. Yeah. So they said like as like as you become successful, you think it's not happening because like all these dramatic changes and stuff that you pray for, and then you seem like people are kind of like not mess with you no more, and you're losing people, but you actually working, you elevating your way to the top. It's like
Right.
God is moving the stuff that you don't need.
Right.
So, so it's part of growth, which a lot of people don't understand until they reach their goals and dreams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every level will teach you more and more about what is required, what is needed. It presents itself if you're looking and if you're allowing that to be something that you observe.
Yes. Yes. And also like on your posts on your TikToks and also your IG, you talk about one of your posts. Actually, a couple of your posts, you were talking about like the comfort zone. Just pretty much just tell the audience how dangerous the comfort zone is. We all think
Mm.
that comfort is good, but it's not always good, especially when you trying to get somewhere in your life.
Right, absolutely. I think it's a dangerous spot to be. I think that it teaches us that that's all that we are deserving of, and I think that that couldn't be further from the truth. In order to grow, we have to stretch, right? We've all seen like the Venn diagrams of where comfort is and where growth is. Growth exists like outside of that circle that we're so accustomed to. And it's kind of like the person who never moves away, right? They're from a small city, they've lived there all their life, born and raised, and then they don't move away and they stay there and they start that next cycle. And that might be fine for some people, but then you get the people who leave that comfort of their small town that they
Yeah.
grew up in and they are raised in, and they go to a bigger city and their eyes are open because they're living a life experience that wasn't theirs to live, that they were born into, and their eyes get opened. And I think that every step of the way, the more discomfort that you are exposed to, the bigger your perspective gets, the more you become aware of the things that are necessary for you to continue to grow. The more you realize that, oh, I'm starting to get really comfortable. I've been here before. I recognize this and I know this cycle, and I will not allow myself to stay in this cycle because I want to grow. So, comfort is a very dangerous place because you have just enough to be comfortable, but not enough to stretch and grow into the person that you could become and or into the version of yourself that maybe you were meant to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. So also, you're not just posting like cool content, but you're also a professional photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a photographer, you have a beautiful eye for capturing life's moments. So how do you balance actually being present in the moment with your kids versus capturing it for your audience?
Oh man. Yeah, that is definitely a dance. I
Yeah.
think that my boys are at an age, they are 16 and 17. I have a junior and a senior in high school. And each phase and each chapter of being a parent has looked a little different, of course. But I think that when it is time to spend time with your kids, spend time with your kids, right? Like, turn off all the other noise, spend time with your kids. When it's time for me to be out doing my other things, I am focused and in that moment 100%. And I think that that's what you have to teach yourself to do and train yourself to do is where you're at, be there 100%. And then when you are done with that, you can turn that off, if you will, and put on the other hat that you need it to be. I get to share some of these spaces with my sons, though. They both play football, of course, and then I am their unofficial school team photographer for their football team and have been since they were very little, of course, right? So I've grown up with them, if you will, and all of their friends. But I think it's one of those things where, as a mom, as a parent, as a lover of sports, and as somebody who's grown up with these kids, or I've seen these kids and watched them grow up all these years, I have a unique eye for these moments. I'm there supporting my boys and what they are doing and their love also, but I also know all of these various moments to look for and to capture because there's such a unique experience there from my being somebody who loves sports, is there to document the entire game or scrimmage or experience, but then also through my boys' eyes and then through their teammates' eyes as well. But I think wherever you're at, you've got to be there 100%.
Well, yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. Yes. So, what is your go-to mantra or affirmation right now?
Ooh, I always have so many things. I always
Yes.
have so many things, but I
Yeah.
think one of the big ones right now is about being able to live your life in such a way that you can look back and not have any regrets and know that good, bad, or ugly, the life that you've lived, that each step of the way can improve with the choices that you make. And even though they're not always easy, right? Those choices that we have to
Yeah.
make at times, they're not easy. They're not going to be the most comfortable thing. They're not going to be the easiest, most obvious choice. But sometimes making those hard and difficult choices are going to be the things that lead you to the peace that you desire, to the freedom that you want, to the growth that you really want to accomplish next. So I have this thing right now about be at peace with the decisions that you make and live
Mm.
in that decision, own it, live it, and see what happens next instead of being the wishy-washy. Am I going to do this? Am I not going to do this? Should I do this? What do you have to lose? If you're not harming yourself or others around you,
Mhm.
what do you have to lose?
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Make the decision and support your
Yes,
decision.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Also, what is one boundary you set for yourself as a mom that has completely changed your mental health for the better?
Oh, this one started when my boys were really, really, really young. Before I had kids, the gym was really important to me, and going to the gym, it was a lot easier, right? After having kids, that was a little bit more difficult. But what I did for a long time when they were really little and their sleep and their schedules would be all over the place, my boundary was to wake up really early. I'd wake up early and get my workout in before anybody needed me for the day. So that was a non-negotiable, and that was one of those boundaries where it's like, I can make excuses as to why I cannot do this, or they can be the reason why I do get up earlier and do this before anything else. So that's a boundary and that's a space for me. Obviously, that's gotten a lot easier to do the older that they get, right? So that is something there, but I still carve out that boundary for myself in my everyday. But from the time that they were really little, I wanted to make sure that I carved that out for myself. But I think that it also sets a really good example for if you're a parent and you have kids, because you're showing them from a very early age the discipline that you're putting into you making sure that you're showing up for yourself every single day.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. Yes. So where were you the moment when your team threw that game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl against the 49ers?
I was
That's the toughest
in
question of all.
a bar in a Chiefs bar down in Florida. And yeah, it was I I was already in Tampa for a conference for a work thing that I was working at the time. And so I stayed a little bit longer. I was supposed to go home that Sunday morning, right? But once the Super Bowl and once we made it into the Super Bowl, I was like, oh, I'm going to stay and hang out and be this much closer to where my team is
Yeah.
playing. So I was in a bar surrounded by Chiefs fans and was able to, I think I was crying at first because, the first half was not going very well, if you'll remember. And then it got to a point where I sat there in complete disbelief of this could happen. And then this is happening. And then, oh my gosh, we're doing it. So I remember being really, really, really joyful and like tears sort of joyful because I just couldn't believe it. There were so many emotions. And for anybody who was a Chiefs fan, how many years had it been since that had happened? I think like 50 years or something crazy like that, right? So I was elated and I was feeling all of the feels surrounded by, and here's the other thing. I didn't know a single person in this bar talking about discomfort. Talking about growth and all of the things. So yes, I do put myself into these situations, but I didn't know a single person. And I ended up sitting next to this guy who he followed me on Twitter. And it's so funny. At one point, he's like, "Are you so and so?" And so we met in real life, you know,
Yeah.
and got to become friends. And I consider us friends to this day, of course. But again, sharing that experience, being surrounded by strangers who have a shared love and passion for this team,
Yeah.
of course, but then getting to meet somebody as a result of being uncomfortable and wanting to watch this game in a state that was a lot closer than mine being elsewhere. So that
Yeah.
was where I was, and those were the feels. And man, that was such an incredible moment.
Yeah. For you,
For
not for me
me,
so much.
yes, for me. Yeah, it was for you for the first half, and then those feelings got swapped. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't notice. A few years later, my son said he ran upstairs, started crying.
oh,
I know. Yeah.
oh, I feel for him. I know that feeling, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, man. Lost my train of thought. That wasn't even the question written down. I just wanted to
You just
throw
want to
that
throw it
in
out there.
there.
Okay. All right, all right. We can go off the cuff at times.
Yeah. That's fine. I like things authentic. I don't really edit none of this stuff anyway.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, so what is one piece of advice you would give to another mom out there who feels like she's lost her spark and is trying to rebuild her life?
Oh, man. I think that it's important not to forget that you are an individual, that you are a human being first and foremost. I think a lot of times when we are parenting and we are being a mom and trying to do all the things by ourselves, we're automated so much of the time. We are doing all of the things because of the nurturing side of us, but I think that sometimes we forget that we are human beings, that it's okay to show emotion, that it's okay that not everything is perfect. We don't have to present perfection to our kids for them to love us and appreciate us. I think sometimes protecting them from too much of that gives them a false sense of how heroic their mom might be, even though she really is.
Yeah.
So I think that being able to remember that you are a human being and don't forget to do some of the things that make you feel alive. So we tend to put ourselves on the back burner saying, oh, this isn't in the budget, or this isn't this, or this isn't that. But I've always 1,000% believed that as women and that as moms, we find a way and make a way. So if you want to do something like, I remember a year ago, I was like, I want to start dancing again. And so I was like, oh, but dance classes cost this much money. And you know what? It's been a little bit over a year and I still dance about once a week, every single week. You'll figure out a way to do it. But don't forget that you are a human being, that you have to tend to you also so that you're not pouring from an empty cup.
Yes, that's definitely. Yes, you want to give from the overflow. Yes, nothing.
Hmm. Yes.
Absolutely. Um, So as we wrap things up, anything you want to add? And if you could put your plug in where they could find your content and social media websites or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I have any more to add. We got to touch on such a variety of things that I love doing in my life. It's so hard and you know this, Ramon, as a content creator, but it's hard for me to niche down. But I think my niche from the core of everything is just life and positivity and light itself. So it all stems from that. So nothing more for me to add to our conversation here tonight. I will say that I am on most social media platforms as my first and last name, Houng Forrest. It's spelled a little bit differently, both Hong and Forest. So as long as you spell that right, you'll land out there. But I am on all of them. So if you need a daily dose of inspiration or laughs, because I share equal parts of both between the morning motivation and then just doing life throughout the course of the day, I'd love for you to come and find me and follow and say hello.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And we'll definitely tag you on the podcast as we after we release this interview. Yeah, but hey man, it's Hong, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journeys and being an inspiration.
Thank you, Ramon. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we got to talk finally and give this opportunity to sit down and chat. So thank you very much for what you're doing.
Uh, Most definitely, been fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Houng Forrest.
Have a great day, y'all.